You just went through bankruptcy. Now what? Maybe your case is over or almost over, but you're worried.
Will I ever see good credit again? Can I buy a house or a car?
Did I ruin my financial future forever?
In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what life after bankruptcy really looks like, how to rebuild your credit, protect yourself from collectors, and move toward your next big goals without falling back into the same trap. Hi, I'm Mike Ziegler, a bankruptcy and debt relief attorney here in Florida. For over 15 years, I've helped everyday people get out of debt, stop lawsuits, and rebuild after major financial setbacks. If you're in Florida and you're thinking about bankruptcy, or if you've already filed and you're not sure what comes next, call my office at 727-538-4188. We'll talk through your options and help you plan your next steps. Now let's talk about life after bankruptcy and how to use this fresh start the right way. So first, let's clear up the biggest myth. Bankruptcy is not the end of your financial life. In most cases, it is the beginning of a new chapter. When you get a discharge in Chapter 7 or in Chapter 13, most unsecured debts are wiped out. So things like credit cards, personal loans, and many collection accounts and old judgments are usually gone. The harassing calls, lawsuits, and garnishment tied to those debts must stop, and you get room in your budget because you're not trying to juggle impossible payments anymore. But bankruptcy does not erase all types of debts. Some things like recent taxes, child support, alimony, most student loans, and certain types of fines may still remain. You can erase the past from your credit history overnight. The bankruptcy will show on your credit report for several years, but that doesn't mean that you have several years of bad credit. Think of it this way. Bankruptcy is like hitting a reset button. It doesn't erase your past, but it gives you a chance to write a better future. The first 3 months after your discharge are about one main goal: stability. Make a simple, honest budget. You don't need a fancy app. A notebook or a basic spreadsheet works. List your take-home income. List your must-have expenses: housing, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, basic medical, minimum debt payments that survive the case, and see what's left over, even if it's not much. Your goal is to avoid going back into using credit to survive. If there's a shortfall, this is the time to adjust spending, look at income options, or talk to a professional. Second step, start a small emergency cushion. Even 20 to 50 bucks per month in a small savings account matters. If you're not trying to build a huge nest egg overnight, you're trying to break the habit of turning to credit cards every time something goes wrong. Third step, clean up any leftover collection activity. Once your bankruptcy is done, many collectors must stop contacting you about discharged debts. If someone keeps calling or sending collection letters on a debt that was wiped out, save the letters and the voicemails, write down dates and times of calls, and talk to a lawyer. That kind of conduct can violate debt collection laws and credit reporting laws, and you may have the right to recover damages. This is the part that most people worry about.
Will I ever have good credit again?
The answer is yes if you follow a deliberate plan. First, check your credit reports. About 60 to 90 days after your discharge, your credit report should be showing zero balance. Pull that report from the 3 main bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Check that the debts included in bankruptcy show a zero balance or discharged in bankruptcy, not past due forever. Old collection accounts that were wiped out are not being reported as if they're still active and collectible. If something looks wrong, dispute the error with the credit bureaus in writing. In some cases, you may have rights under the Fair Credit Reporting Act if they don't fix it. This step is critical. If your credit report's wrong, your score will suffer longer than it has to. Next, add small positive counts on your credit history. Once the debt dust settles, you can slowly add good credit back into your file. You don't need a lot, so some common tools are a secured credit card, where usually you place a small deposit like 200 to 500 bucks. Your credit limit is usually equal to that deposit, and you use it for small monthly charges and pay it off in full every month. A credit builder loan from a local bank or credit union, they can put a small amount aside for you. You make monthly payments, and when you're done, you get the money back and a history of on-time on-time payments. Some rules to follow: keep your balances low, ideally under 30% of the limit. Less is better. Always pay on time. Even one late payment can set you back. You don't need 5 credit cards. 1 or 2 well-managed accounts can do this job. Step 3, let time work in your favor. Credit scores care about your payment history. Have you been paying on time? The amount of debt versus the limit. How much is your available credit to be able to be used? The age of the accounts. Older is better. And a mix of accounts, credit cards versus loans, etc. Over 12 to 24 months of on-time payments and low balances for most people will result in surprisingly strong improvements, even with the bankruptcy still showing. So you may be wondering, will I ever be able to buy a car or a house again? Buying a car after bankruptcy. For most people, the first big step is a reliable car. Be careful with fresh start car dealers or bad credit no problem ads. They often come with really high interest rates and harsh terms. If possible, wait until you have a small down payment, you built a few months of on-time payments with a card or credit builder loan, and always focus on a simple, reliable car. A payment that comfortably fits your budget and a loan you can realistically pay off is important. The goal is not a dream car. The goal is safe transportation that helps you move forward without pulling you back into trouble. Let's talk about buying a home after bankruptcy. A lot of people think that bankruptcy means they'll never own a home. That's not true. Most lenders and loan programs will consider you after a waiting period if you have stable income and you've rebuilt your credit. If you're keeping your debts under control, they often will give you consideration. The exact waiting time and rules depends on the loan program and your situation. But the big idea is that bankruptcy may delay homeownership, but it usually does not end it forever. During that wait, keep paying all current bills on time. Avoid taking on large new debts that you don't need. Save for what you can for a down payment and for closing costs. Let's talk about the emotional side of bankruptcy. Let's be honest, bankruptcy isn't just numbers, it's emotional. A lot of people considering bankruptcy will tell me things like they feel like they've failed, they feel embarrassed, they don't want anyone to know that they've filed. And I get that. What I tell them is overwhelmingly the people that I've worked with aren't people that have made bad decisions, people that are using the bankruptcy tools improperly. They've gone through some sort of a life event. They may have lost a job, medical issues, divorce, or other life situations. The bankruptcy laws exist for a reason because bad things can happen to everybody. Congress wrote these laws to give people a second chance, not to punish them forever. The real failure is staying stuck, drowning in debt when a legal fresh start is available. If you use the fresh start to build a simple budget, to build some good habits with money, to avoid the traps that got you into trouble in the first place, then bankruptcy can be a huge turning point, not a life sentence. Mistakes to avoid after bankruptcy. To protect your fresh start, watch out for these common mistakes. Mistake number 1, going right back to high interest debt. Avoid payday loans, title loans, and high fee cards. If you need credit, choose simple, clear products and read the terms. Mistake number 2, ignoring your credit reports. If you've never checked your credit reports, errors can sit there for years and hold your score down. Make a habit to review your credit at least once a year. Mistake number 3, co-signing for someone else. When you co-sign, you're fully responsible if the other person doesn't pay. After bankruptcy, that risk is extra dangerous. It can pull you right back into collections. Mistake number 4, not asking for help when something goes wrong. If a creditor or collector is still chasing you for discharge debt, if a credit report error won't go away, if a new debt is starting to snowball, talk to a professional before it turns into lawsuits and garnished. Even if your case is over, there are times when having a lawyer in your corner can make a huge difference. For example, if collectors are chasing discharge debts, you may have a right to recovery under debt collection laws. If you're in Florida and you're facing any one of these issues, or if you just want someone to walk you through what life after bankruptcy should look like, call us at 727-538-4188. If you're feeling stuck, scared, or shamed after your bankruptcy, remember this: bankruptcy is not the end of your story. We'll review where you are now, talk about your goals, and help you build a plan for life after bankruptcy. And if you want to learn more about stopping debt collectors before things get out of control, watch my video on how to use debt validation letters to shut down collectors and demand proof of the debt. That is the next key step in protecting your fresh start.